Wait, what? Oh, hi there, kiddies. I'm Joke Man, and you're watching Channel Pop. Don't forget to subscribe. So for today's video, I thought it'd be entertaining to look back at 2-year-old Gotham theories and see whether or not they were right. So this selection here is the top 5 Gotham fan theories going right now as of 2 years ago. This is from TVOvermind.com. So their first theory, Jerome Valeska is the Joker. Fan theory enthusiasts thought they had nailed it when they met Jerome Valeska. The actor Cameron Monaghan nailed the performance, channeling just enough Jack Nicholson and Heath Ledger into his act to make fans surmise, this is it, he's here. Then the curveball came when Jerome was killed and fans were left confused and pretty upset. Then the freak van from Arkham rolled up in the season 2 finale and viewers swore they caught a glimpse of Jerome, and the speculation ramped up again. And it turns out they were right. Jerome is, in some form, alive, although he's having some trouble lately keeping his face on. Jerome has bright hair, pale skin, and a knife-sliced smile. He wears creepy makeup and was raised in a carnival. Plus, he just loves to laugh. Who else can he be? Well, okay, so, looking back on that fan theory, justifiable, but it turned out to be incorrect. That was debunked in season 4 when we met Jeremiah Valeska, who would be the man who would go on to become the Joke Man, because they're not allowed to use that term. The next one says the Waynes were gangsters. In Gotham, the Wayne family gets more airtime than the traditional Batman universe. They had ties to all sorts of goings-on in Gotham. Ed Nygma seems obsessed with asking who runs Wayne Enterprises. Then there's the Court of Owls stuff too. And the fact that the Waynes have a bank account that would impress Scrooge McDuck. This is true in regular Batman universes too, but in a crooked town like Gotham, how many pies have the Wayne thumbprint? Was Bruce Wayne's parents really a mob hit? Well, it is intriguing because they did have ties to Pinewood Studios, but as I understand, Thomas Wayne tried to have the thing shut down when he found out about the experiments going on there. That doesn't sound too morally ambiguous to me. It sounds like Thomas Wayne and Martha Wayne were actually quite respectable in Gotham. A far cry from the Batman Telltale universe. Their next theory, Jim Gordon is not done with Barbara. This is a plausible theory, as in the Batman universe they get married and have at least one child who becomes Batgirl. The romantic chemistry sizzles between the characters on Gotham, so don't dock their ship just yet. Jim can't seem to make it work with anyone else, no matter how hard he tries. They were actually kind of on the money with this one, weren't they? Because Jim and Barbara did seem to reconcile in season 5, and they had their first child together. So, yeah, well done to them. But it doesn't seem like they'll be having any kind of romantic connection again, because I believe, and this is my own fan theory, she's gonna die in the second before last episode. And then for the final fan theory on TVOvermind.com, Penguin and Riddler romance. It's pretty clear that Ed Nygma is the Riddler and Oswald Cobblepot is the Penguin. But Oswald's crush on Ed was an unexpected surprise. Will those feelings ever be returned? Does this couple have a chance, even though Ed shot Penguin and left for dead? Some say, yeah, their time will come. Their heated exchanges and love for diabolical plots make them a perfect match. Considering the number of steamy fanfiction stories that feature the mayor and his right-hand man, it's clear that the viewers really want this pairing to happen. Well, now having watched into season 5, there is still some chance of that, but the thing is the guys have shared quite a bit of screen time between Ed Nygma and Ospot Cobblewald. I'm not doing well today, am I? Ed Nygma and Oswald Cobblepot have shared quite a lot of screen time together in the past season, and I feel like any kind of romantic connection between the two has dissipated, but who knows, maybe the two get a little kissy in the end of the finale, who knows, probably not. Okay, so this next batch is from cinemablend.com, and this is 4 wild Gotham theories we have after watching the new season 5 video. Okay, so number 1, Jim will know Bruce is Batman from the start. Gotham has always been touted as an origin story for Batman, as well as many other characters in the famous Batman lore, and it always has taken some kind of huge liberties with traditional Batman origin stories. One significant liberty has been the close relationship between Bruce Wayne and Jim Gordon, as Bruce goes from traumatized preteen to teenage vigilante. Jim is aware of Bruce's fighting skills, his willingness to risk everything, and his huge fortune. Wouldn't it stand to reason that Jim would one day figure out that Bruce is the man behind the mask? Based on the new footage that shows Bruce and Jim hanging out by the floodlight that is clearly the precursor to the bat signal, as well as Bruce kicking ass without a mask, presumably within view of Jim at some point, Now, I have to wonder if Jim will know that Bruce is Batman from the very first time he dons the cape and cowl and hits the streets of Gotham City. It would be the perfect way to end the series without trying to sell that Jim wouldn't connect these dots, as he hasn't even been hit around the head enough times for that to make sense. Besides, Bruce could use an ally if a certain something awful happens to somebody he loves, which brings us to the next wild theory that comes next. But first, just a little more on this one. We can't even rule that out yet, to be honest, because the finale is yet to come. However, I do understand why they're saying this. I think one thing that might put that to bed a little bit might be that Bruce Wayne is set to leave Gotham after the penultimate episode to go off and train and everything to become Batman, go explore the world. That's something that people are justifying a lot, making, Batman a bit less recognizable as Bruce. I think more than likely we're never going to get a good look at Batman, so Gordon is never going to get a good look at Batman in the finale. I think he's going to be a slick, quick kind of Batman that just kind of appears, he goes, and you never get a good look at the guy, so who would ever assume that it's Bruce Wayne under the mask? But one has to also question the coincidence of Bruce Wayne returns to Gotham City just as Batman appears, unless Bruce is laying low at first and comes back later on and is like, hey, who's this Batman guy? I think that's a good one to leave ambiguous. Alright, so on the next one, Alfred will die. Do we want Alfred to die? Absolutely not, Cinema Lense. The dynamic between Bruce and Alfred has been one of the most compelling and touching of the series, and Bruce would be devastated to lose yet another parental figure. Unfortunately, for good old Alfred, the new footage indicates that he's going to have a run-in with Jeremiah Valeska. Jeremiah is undoubtedly going to get even more Joker-esque in the new episodes. And what more effective way to show the climax of the transformation than to kill a major character? At this point, I won't rule out giving Alfred the Jason Todd treatment. As many Gotham fans surely know, Jason Todd in the comics was Batman's second Robin. He was brutally beaten to death by the Joker in a move that changed Batman forever. Bruce obviously isn't going to have a Robin in Gotham, barring a massive time jump, but the show could give him a Jason Todd caliber tragedy by having Jeremiah kill Alfred. If Selina could get Barbara Gordon's Killing Joke tragedy in Gotham, why can't Alfred get Jason Todd's? Excuse me while I go knock on wood that this doesn't happen. Admittedly, Alfred is a skilled fighter in his own right, and there are plenty of skilled fighters who would fight tooth and nail to save him. Still, Alfred may already be in bad shape, courtesy of another villain by the time Jeremiah gets his hands on him. Should we prepare to say goodbye to Alfred? Another interesting theory, because it kind of has but hasn't happened in a way, so Jeremiah Valeska didn't do it, and I can understand the logic behind this is that, yeah, they have been adapting a variety of Joker stories for the Valeska twins, and that killing off Alfred would be another means of doing the Jason Todd story. However, that clearly didn't happen. What did happen, though, is that Alfred was the one who had his back broken by Bane in the sort of pre-finale, if you will. How many pre-finale finales are they going to have? He's certainly not dead, but he's looking worse for wears, I'd say. At least, I hope he's not dead. Okay, next theory. Penguin and Riddler are the real heroes. The newly teased footage indicates that there will be villains galore running rampant in no man's land, with one previously heroic character seemingly aligning firmly with the bad guys for the first time. Interestingly, however, two of Gotham's longest-running characters turned villains seem poised to fight the good fight in Season 5. Yes, Penguin and Riddler may be the real heroes of No Man's Land by the end. Now, that's not to say that any heroics from Penguin and Riddler won't be largely self-serving and at least partly rooted in madness, but beggars can't be choosers in No Man's Land. In one key moment of the new video, Penguin can be seen handing over an automatic rifle to Jim in the GCPD, telling him that it's woefully apparent that you're out of options. Of course, he can previously be seen in a standoff with Jim, and their two sides are set to clash over the few resources left in the remnants of Gotham City. There is also a quick shot of Penguin and Riddler slow-mo walking out of the precinct with Harvey and Jim, indicating that the four characters, all of them armed, will be working together. Could they be the ones to save the day? Perhaps a common enemy could motivate them to join forces for the greater good, even if Penguin and Riddler's ultimate goals are something different. Yeah, there's credence in that. I mean, we've already seen Penguin and Enigma going up against Bane, and we've already seen that Bane is a problem for everyone, including Jim Gordon. I think, I'd say I suspect, but it's definite, that this whole scene of them teaming up with Jim Gordon is most definitely in an assault on Bane, which I can't wait to see. I love a good hero-villain team-up. However, the shot where Penguin hands him the gun has been seen earlier in the season, so it's not to do with the ending. Okay, final theory from Cinema Blend. Jim and Babs conceive baby Batgirl. Back in the beginning of the series, before it truly embraced the ridiculous and deviated from the DC Comics canon in some spectacularly innovative ways, Jim Gordon and Barbara Keane were engaged. For comic fans, it seemed only natural that they would wind up getting hitched and have at least one kid. If Gotham is the origin story of Batman, wouldn't it make sense for it to also be the origin story of Batgirl? Dick Grayson's birth was kinda sorta teased when the Flying Graysons appeared in Season 1, so Gotham clearly isn't against teasing future members of the Bat family. Well, after Babs Keane went bonkers and became a villainess in her own right, even a brief hookup with Jim to make a baby felt unlikely, and fans had to reconsider the potential of other ways for Barbara Gordon to be born. In the new video for Season 5, Jim and Barbara are seen getting very cozy together. There's no context for the two standing intimately close together, so it's possible that these two will only have a split second and nothing more. Or will something happen that Jim and Barbara hook up and unintentionally make a baby? If that does happen, I have to hope that Babs hands the baby over to Jim after being born. As entertaining as she is as a character, she's not really the kind of maternal figure anybody would want for a baby, especially if that baby bears the name of a character who traditionally becomes a hero in Batman stories. And they were absolutely bang on the money when it came to Jim and Barbara conceiving a baby together in a one-night stand sort of scenario. And it was definitely down to Jim Gordon being under a huge amount of stress, and he just needed that sort of release. Good old Jim Gordon, a grade A breeding stock. But I don't think it comes down to her just handing it over. I think she is going to die and Jim will be the last parent left. I mean, that makes sense, right? It sets it up here and everything. I noticed in recent seasons they did introduce a character to the GCPD whose name was Barbara, so I had a feeling that maybe Barbara would be named after her after she makes like a heroic sacrifice and dies or something. Either way, she has been on the path to redemption here, not nearly as bonkers as we remember her. So it's kind of interesting to see how right and how wrong some of these theories were. Okay, so what theories do we have for the season finale of Gotham? Comment below and discuss. My theory for the finale is that Bruce will indeed go away and will come back and we'll only see Batman in fleeting glances, and Jim Gordon himself will never get a good look at him. I also have a theory that Penguin and Riddler won't see each other during the 10-year time jump, and when they do meet again, it'll be sort of like a reunion of sorts. Maybe they'll end up like robbing the same bank or something, but that's kind of the sort of path I think this is going to go down. Maybe Batman will team up with Riddler and Penguin when Joke Man kidnaps them. Who knows? Either way, if you enjoyed this video and you want more like it, don't forget to hit subscribe and hit the like button, and if you've done that already, what a trooper you are. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and have a great day.